Hello boys and girls. Have you been good this Christmas or have you been naughty? If you've been naughty, you may get a visit from me and you don't want that. You really don't. I'm feeling very hungry, so if there's any naughty boys or girls out there, then I shall be eating them. I've got a big appetite. Some say I have hollow legs, so yes. Be good.
Hi, Charlotte here and welcome back to Pretty Scary. Now today is the second part of my Creepy Christmas series. The first part was Jack Frost and this part is going to be that evil Christmas spirit, Krampus. So Krampus is an ancient Christmas legend about an evil, horned, scary spirit that takes children at Christmas, naughty children, and I think he eats them in the original legend. There's various different Krampus walks and festivals where people dress up and wear elaborate makeup, costumes, masks. But Krampus has also been featured in the marvellous Grimm, if anybody watches Grimm. It's also been made into a film this year, so most people who weren't aware of Krampus will be now. Because there are so many different versions of Krampus, I thought I'd do my own version rather than doing literally a straight copy from the film or from Grimm. The one thing that Krampus always does have, no matter which picture you look at, is he always has horns. I use the Ellie Max tutorial to base these horns on. I've linked that below if you'd like to have a look. But basically I used some tinfoil which I shaped to create the basic shape of the horns, and then padded that out with some cotton wool and then taped over that with parcel tape to hold it all together. And then I went over with some paper mache in strips to create these ridges. Then I painted the whole thing black and then dry brushed over with lighter sort of beigey grey tones. Right, I am now going to stick, I'm not going to stick 80s music on today for a change. I'm watching Christmas 24. I know I'm sad. So whilst I create the evil Krampus, I will have that in the background.
First you'll want to block out your brows, you will find out why later, so just using some prosaide and a damp cotton bud and just put the prosaide over your brows. Then take some cotton wool and some latex, the old faithful, and it's time to try and stick on these horns. I say try because they were very difficult. First I'm using the ends of the horns dipped in the latex to make a stamp to show where the horns are going to go. And then taking some cotton wool and dipping it in latex and stuffing it into the end of the horns to provide a base to stick to my head. Well, that's the theory anyway. First I tried sticking it with some prosaide and it didn't work very well. Well, it kind of worked, but it wasn't enough to support the horns. There's a lot of drying with this makeup as well. A lot of drying of latex and glue and stuff. So then I put some extra cotton wool soaked in latex around the base of the horns. This works very well because not only does it support the horns, but it also looks like the kind of the base that you would have around the bottom of horns anyway. So it works quite well on two levels, but it's very, very fiddly to do it on your own because obviously you're trying to smooth the cotton wool on and keep the horn on your head and dry it, and you need a million different hands, so it's probably better to get somebody else to help you if you're not so confident. I did find it very difficult myself, to be honest, and I'm an experienced special effects artist, so yeah, make either smaller horns or get somebody to help you. Just keep building up the cotton wool basically until the horn is self-supporting and until it doesn't sag or feel like it's going to break off or anything like that. You can add as much cotton wool as you like really in theory because, let's face it, a Krampus isn't going to be all nice and smooth and pretty, so it doesn't really matter too much. And now literally just repeat the same thing on the other side.
He'll tie them up by their hands and feet and drag them back to hell. Oh, bells will ring and chains will swing and there'll be screams of fright. Just wanna let all the naughty kids know the Krampus comes tonight. But if you're nice...
Now using the same cotton wool and latex technique, I'm just creating some nice mean looking brows just by soaking the cotton wool in the latex and then sculpting it into the shape that I want. You can use your imagination here, but the main idea is to create some kind of frown and kind of cover your own brows to make you look more sort of animalistic and angry and nasty. So I'm just smoothing that out with a palette knife.
All the naughty kids know the Krampus comes tonight. He does. The Krampus comes tonight. Oh yeah.
Now I'm just using exactly the same technique to sculpt a nice little Krampus nose, or a nice big Krampus nose.
Comes tonight. Gather round, everybody, please come near. There is something important that you must hear. Now Saint Nick has a list of good girls and boys, and he rewards them all with candy, pennies and toys.
Now I'm just dabbing a little bit of latex around the edges of all the areas I built up with cotton wool, just to blend it a little bit more into the skin and make sure it's nice and stuck down.
Horns and fangs and a crusty mane, and handling naughty children is his domain. So you had better hope with all of your might that his list.
Now I'm giving my Krampus a flesh tone base, so I'm just going over with some nice Cheap and Cheerful Collection 2000 foundation, which I have to say is actually quite amazing. So, but that's another story.
Looking for a treat. He's got a little list of boys and girls that he is planning to eat. Oh, bells will ring and chains will swing and there'll be screams of fright. Just want to let all the naughty kids know the Krampus comes tonight.
I'm just using some grey grease paint and just creating some contours, so under the cheekbones and under the eye sockets, and then using the same foundation as before just to lighten areas up and blend that shading into the face a little bit more.
Chains will swing and there'll be screams of fright. Just want to let all the naughty kids know the Krampus comes tonight. With some spice, he boils them nice. He gives his lips a smack, 'cause all the wicked children out there are gonna be his snack. Oh,
If you're wondering why you keep seeing me use a hairdresser, it's because when you use something wet like a foundation on latex, it does tend to wet it again. Cotton wool, sorry, not the latex. So you just need to dry certain areas. Now I'm just taking some dark grease paint and just shading around the horns and then blending that in with a latex sponge, which I've broken into pieces to give it a bit more texture, and then using some of that foundation again just to blend that into the face. And then taking that dark colour down over the rest of the face just to give a more sort of mottled, more sort of monstery look rather than a nice smooth foundation. And then just accentuating some more of those contours and lines and giving my Krampus some dark lips just to make him look a bit more evil. And you can just keep working at this basically with all the different colours and textures until you're happy with the way your Krampus looks.
chains will swing and there'll be screams of fright. Just want to let all the naughty kids know the Krampus comes tonight. He does. The Krampus comes tonight. Oh yeah, the Krampus comes tonight. Here he comes. The Krampus comes tonight.
Now just drying off my teeth with some tissue, ready to put on some tooth enamel, which I managed to splash on my armpit. How? Just how? So I'm just putting it on the back of my hand, putting it on with my fingers, and then drying with a hairdryer. And I just taking my hair down to give me a more Krampus look.
I'll tell you about these horns. What a nuisance. I'll be glad to get them off. I'm glad that I don't have horns. This is the finished look. I'm not going to lie, it's a bit fiddly. Probably better, unless you're very confident with your special effects skills, to get someone to help you out with the horns. You can see mine are a little bit skew-iff because they're really, really hard to put on. If you do have to do it on your own, maybe make some smaller horns than me. These weigh nothing, but they're still very difficult to put on single-handedly. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please comment below anything else you'd like to see or what you thought of this video. And please subscribe if you haven't yet already. This is the second of my creepy Christmas looks. There's one more to come, which will be a half tree, half person sort of Christmas tree
spirity amalgamation of a person and a Christmas tree thing. And also in this series is Two Pretty Looks, grammar. And that is the glittery look and the warm winter beauty look. So it's not all scary, there's some pretty too. Anyway, I shall see you next time. Bye bye from Krampus. Be good this Christmas.
Gather round everybody, please come near. There is something important that you must hear. Now Saint Nick has a list of good girls and boys, and he rewards them all with candy, pennies and toys. But there's another list that gets carried around.